Baby, we've been married over a decade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were there the whole time with me.
I've been here this
You've
whole
been there the
time.
whole time.
Right.
Over those, over all of these years, you know, I feel like we've continued to fall in love with each other literally over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to ask you today, what do you think is required or what it takes to continue to keep falling in love with the partner? Like for two people to just keep falling in love with each other over and over again.
I think for us, I can only speak about us. Like I don't know about other people, so I'm gonna speak about us and what we do. Something that's helped us fall in love over and over and over again is the fact that we are constantly growing. So we're constantly changing into new people, and we also have that curiosity about each other. So as we evolve as different people or grow into a different version, we're curious about that version of each other, and it excites us that we get to see each other in a new light.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I get to learn you all over again. You know what I'm saying? So it's exciting. And I think like I get to fall in love with literally every version of you every time you grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Like I think that's really it.
When do you think the last time you felt like you were falling in love with me over again?
Right now.
Oh, okay.
I would say right now, because we're in that phase of like really planning our life after baby leaves to go to the Air Force. So like seeing how you picture our life together after that is really beautiful. Seeing who we're growing into on our way to that is beautiful to see. And I fall more and more in love with how you think, with the drive you have right now. Like you literally inspire me in every possible way. So, and like the way you think, like it's just, I can't help but keep falling in love with you, honestly.
I love that for me.
Yeah. I love that for you too. I think it's dope that we have that experience, because I know like for a lot of people, like they fall out of love and they don't know how to get it back. You know what I'm saying? And not like you can love somebody, but not feel I don't know, like when I look, like I love you, but like I feel this like butterfly type stuff. Like I still feel like we're in the honeymoon phase in a sense. Mm-hmm. And like I feel like that's even elevated more so recently for us.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree with that, because I know we've talked about this so many different times that really, I mean, like the last 10, 11 years of our marriage together, a lot of it, most of it, honestly, has been like so serious. Mm-hmm. And so serious in the sense of we've had so much going on all the time, you know, from what we were dealing with in the military, from the distance that we had, you know, from being at two different duty stations for a while, like, you know, trying to be as intentional as possible when it came to raising baby, mm-hmm. and just all of the things that we've dealt with over the years. I mean, being across the country and not really having any really family support, you know, mm-hmm. when we were going through a lot of stuff, you know, and navigating raising a now teenager,
yeah,
you know what I mean? And like so many things that we went through from transitioning out of the military and just mm-hmm. so many different things. Like it's been so serious mm-hmm. these past 11 years, 12 years, whatever, you know, like, and so I think that now the way that we're falling for each other all over again is really coming back to how we started to picture our life, you know, after being full-time parents and being able to connect with this new version of who we are now. Mm-hmm. And not only just that, but we're not just dreaming about what we want our lives to look like, but we're in the process of doing the work to become our hold on, let me say that again. We're putting in the work to become our ideal selves for when we get to, you know, that empty nester phase of life,
right? To
where it's just me and you, mm-hmm. and we're doing the things that we love, you know, and going to places we want to go, and we don't have as many restrictions or whatever when it comes to like our time and all of those things. And so we are in that phase of actively growing again, mm-hmm. and rediscovering who we are now and who we're going to be coming into, mm-hmm. you know. And so I think that all of that is really playing a heavy role in the way that we've been falling for each other literally all over again, recently.
Yeah. I'm glad that we didn't, on our parenting journey, I'm glad we didn't put off our marriage in the doing of parenting. I'm glad we didn't say, oh, let's wait and do this when baby's gone, or let's wait till she graduates. Let's wait till she's an adult. Let's put this off. I'm glad we didn't do that. I'm glad we did so much growing with each other and made sure our marriage was a priority in the parenting journey. Because I know, like, we've seen it. A lot of people, like, they're focused so much on their children, and then when they look up at their spouse, they're like, who are you? And now, like, the kid is gone, and the couple, they don't have anything to keep them connected anymore, because the connection was the child. It wasn't them too. So now they're trying to figure out who this stranger is next to them. You know what I'm saying? But that's something we were very adamant about. We was like, no, like, we are important. Our marriage is important. Like, yes, parents and baby is too, but she needs to see us be married. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's wild about that is, I legit earlier today saw somebody comment on one of my posts talking about that they would leave their spouse, but the only reason they won't is because they have an autistic child together. And I'm like, man, that's so unfortunate, because, like, that's like life. That's like lifelong. And then realize, that some people are in relationships that are only bound by their kids and things like that. And I'm so glad that we've always prioritized our marriage first and then everything else.
Absolutely. 100%.
You know what I
stand
mean?
on that.
Yes. We've always prioritized first us, making sure we're solid. And then we're able to go from that place to giving a better version of who we are to everything else that flows after us.
I always think it's so interesting when people talk about, we put our marriage first like that. And people automatically think that when you say you put your marriage first, that means you completely neglect your children. That's not what we're saying.
No.
That's not what we're saying. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, our marriage is important because it helps us parent. It helps us take better care of baby and make sure she's seeing a healthy representation of what love is supposed to look like. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, no, like, yes, we put our marriage first, but that's to help her. That's to be there for her. That's to parent her better. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to make sure that was clear.
And that's so, man, I swear I just saw something not too long ago where somebody was talking about that in a similar, I don't want to say the similar way, like the way that we're talking about it, but they were just talking about, how when people usually talk about, prioritizing their marriage over their kids, whatever, it's like they're putting down their connection to their kids or the importance of being a present parent. And that's not what you're saying.
Right.
It's like when you are meaningfully connected, inside of your marriage, and you're growing in your marriage and you're putting in that work and you're prioritizing it. Let's be real. Your spouse is the one person that can give you real, in the moment, like real time feedback on the way that you're communicating, how you come across, how you're making somebody feel, the way that you're communicating your message and all of this stuff. Your kids can't do that the same way. You know what I mean? And so it really is like a training ground when you are meaningfully connected to your spouse and stuff like that, because it does allow you to be able to become better, to serve your child better, and to be the type of parent that they need, and to make sure that you're loving them in a way that they can receive it, and knowing how to navigate all it. Like, it's so much growth that you get in being in a meaningful marriage with somebody who's making you better, not only for them, but for everybody else that you come into contact with outside of your marriage. And people will really like overlook that. Like, you make me better for everybody else.
100%. I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely agree.
And I wanted to stop there.
Yes.
Like, our relationship and the way that we work on each other and we work on ourselves and we work on our marriage, all of that makes me better for everybody else I come into contact with away from you.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. I was going to say, I think it's so interesting how when people talk about, hey, I prioritize my marriage, and like people think like, oh, well, you neglect everything else. But there's a lot of people preaching, make sure you're prioritizing yourself. So what's the difference? Like, I wonder what the disconnect is when people say, okay, well, prioritize yourself, like just in general, make sure you're taking care of yourself, self-care, self-love and all of that. But as soon as you start saying, I really prioritize my marriage, it's a problem. Mm-hmm. I just wonder like why that's a thing.
And you know what? Like, because I know we say some of those things in a similar way, but here's the thing. Mm-hmm. The only reason to take care of yourself mm-hmm. and to prioritize self-care is to give the best version of you away to other people and to other things that matter to you. Mm. Because the best version of you is only the best version of you because of its impact or your impact on other people. Mm. So yeah, you prioritize yourself, but only to give it away. Mm. And people don't understand that because we can get so selfishly wrapped up in taking care of ourselves, and I got to do me, and I got to work on me, and I got to do all of that stuff. But the only reason I'm doing that is so I can show up as the best version of me in my marriage, for my child, for my business, for my clients and the people I'm coaching, for your job, for the other people that you come into contact with. Mm-hmm. Because if it was only about you, how would you even know that that's a better version of you when there's nobody on the receiving end?
That is a great point.
Because everything is pointless if somebody else is not being able to get the direct benefit of whatever work that you're doing on yourself. It's so, yes, it benefits you. Yes, you get to have all of this growth or whatever the case may be or whatever. But if it's only for you, then it's pointless. It doesn't serve anything. It doesn't serve anybody.
Yeah.
It's like having money with nothing to buy. If you're not deploying the best version of you into something outside of yourself, giving it away, serving right, then it has no purpose. So, yes, work on yourself.
For sure.
Only to understand that eventually that elevated version of you is for somebody else. And be wise in who you give that version of you to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't understand what people be getting at when they say that stuff either. Yeah. So that's my whole philosophy on that.
That was good. I liked it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, I do think that when it comes to, meaningful relationships, a lot of people fail to realize, man, that there's so much that you gain from being with somebody who stretches you and somebody who you can actually like practice and work with to become that better version of you, to get that real time feedback, and like to be in an environment where you can be all of who you are with somebody and never have to pretend or put on a facade or none of that stuff, man. And I'm loving the fact that not only do we have that in our marriage, but we have that like just within ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and I'm so glad that we've been so intentional throughout this journey of just growing and improving and stuff like that, and including baby girl in it. And when talking to her about the lessons that we're learning and different things and sharing with her, like I remember we was downstairs the other day and I was like, baby girl, you know what? I love your mama. I'm crazy about this woman. Like, I love her. You know what I mean? And then like her just looking at me like, ooh, dad, like, don't nobody want to hear all that. But like then also being able to backdoor that and remember her hearing her tell us how much, she loves and admires our marriage and stuff like that, and wanting to have something like that for herself and stuff. And never, man, I never even thought about the fact that, she might be looking at us that way outside of just being mom and dad and stuff like that or whatever. But like seeing that and hearing that from her, I was just like, bro, we doing something.
We doing something right.
And that in and of itself goes to show that us prioritizing our marriage has been impactful in a way that actually matters. To where now she aspires to have something like what we have.
Right.
She's gotten to see what it's like to have, for her mom to have a man in her life who genuinely loves her, who loves to care for, who loves to take care of her. And like I told her the other day, I was like, baby girl, the way your mom loves me and cares for me and the way that I love her and cares for her, like it makes us so much better to be able to show up for you, and her being able to hear that and to understand that and us talk about it. Like, man, this is prime training.
Yeah.
Man, and just real time reflection and feedback that we're getting, being intentional the way that we are inside of our marriage. And the way that, we interact and share all of these lessons and stuff with our little one.
Right. Yeah. And in our content too.
And that too.
Yeah.
Sharing the journey as we go.
Mm-hmm.
I love this.
Me too.
I love every bit of it, man. And I'm so glad that I get to do life with you.
Mm-hmm.
So having said that, how important has alignment been in our marriage?
Very important for like
I know that.
Our individual goals, for where we're headed together. I feel like even like, especially recently, I feel like we've become like more aligned. Like we really have an actual, we say it all the time, like a shared vision that we're going towards together. Because I feel like before we would have like, you would have your business and I would have my business, and we would kind of be not split-minded, but in a sense, like if we're focused on two different things, we're not really going in a straight direction together. It's like, okay, well, help me with this and you help me with that. But now we have a collective goal we're going for together. And I feel like with that, even our individual goals funnel to that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we're aligned in so many ways. Even the future we have with each other is for sure.
I think alignment allows you to really be able to handle your partner with another level of care. Like when you're moving in the same direction together, and not just in what you're pursuing in your goals, but even in just who you're becoming as a person.
Absolutely.
And the type of character that you're trying to build inside of yourself and all of those things. Like when you're really in alignment and you're working towards something that you genuinely believe in, again, be it internal or external, I feel like, man, it allows you to be able to handle each other in such a way to where you can really like just show up for your person and care for them in a way that they need it, in a way that it's I don't know, man. It's hard to even put it in words. And I say that because the way that we've been moving, towards, our goals, what we want after our marriage, after, baby girl has gone on, and thinking about, the future that we're building together, like it makes me want to handle you and care for you better, like in the now. Like it makes me look at you and how you're handling your health and your wellness and how I could be able to show up for you and support you like on your fitness journey. It makes me think about, how I'm handling like my own body, in my own mindset. It makes me think about like, I want to make sure that my wife has, as little stress as possible when it comes to, certain things around our house or whatever the case, or when we're talking about, be it our beliefs, or when we're talking about other things that we're working through and that we're trying to overcome, it makes me, and again, speaking for me, that much more aware of how I'm handling you in all of those other areas that we're working through and that we're working on, and all of those areas, because our alignment is everything.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that I'm taking care of all of these sides of you as we're moving in a direction of our goals, our dreams, our aspirations, all of those things. But that's just a me thing, though.
Yeah, I think we're both very intentional about supporting each other in whatever version of each other we want to become. So whatever that looks like is like, how can I help you become whoever this man is you say that you want to be right now? Yeah. And if I need to freaking learn some stuff and we teach each other things and just grow together, like we're both willing to do that to support each other and being whoever we decide we want to be. So
there's so much love in that.
Yeah.
when you're helping somebody that you're with, like become a version of them that they're genuinely proud of, that's why I be telling you like that unconditional love. When we was talking about that a while back, I was like, who I am now, so much of you played a part in who I am now. Like, and I've gotten to a point to where I love me so much and who I am and who I'm becoming. And I have to credit so much of that to you and who you've been in my life.
Right.
And I could never not love you because of the way that you've helped me love myself. Like, I could never, ever like not love you, regardless of what happened or what could happen or any of that stuff. Just knowing how much you've contributed to me becoming somebody that I genuinely love and that I'm proud to be, and knowing that I'm still working to become better, and that I look forward to knowing that version of me is possible.
You know, that's so good. That's so good. And I think it's so good because we were totally aware of how we contributed to each other, even in friendship.
Facts.
Like, we knew we made each other better. Like, we watched each other grow as friends. And like, and it's such a beautiful thing to not even like, to unselfishly want to see someone be better, whether they're with you or not. And like, I felt that for you, even as your friend. I'm like, you're a dope person. Like, how can I help you be better? Like, you don't got to give me anything. Like, how can I just show up for you as your friend? And you did the same thing for me. And obviously we grew in love through that. But that's something we've also brought into our marriage. Like, how can I contribute to the man you say you want to be on this earth? This impact that you say you want to have. You want to build this thing. What can I do? How can I help you? I'm your biggest supporter. Fuck everybody. Excuse everybody else. I'm your biggest supporter. What can I do to show up for you? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like that's something we've always, like, that's something we've been standing on for the longest time.
Yeah. Like,
I want to be your rock, you know?
To have that desire.
Yes. Like, I feel like I've dreamed bigger for you, even when you couldn't dream for yourself.
Plenty of times.
Like, even when we was going through like some hard moments, or like you were going through hard moments, I'm like, babe, like, you got this. Like, it doesn't matter what you see right now. Let's have faith. What can we learn? How can we grow? What do we need to do to be this? And like, it didn't matter what that looked like. That desire was always still there. How can I contribute to you? I love you. You know? Because
when you're deeply in love with somebody, you want them to at least have the opportunity to see themselves in a fraction of the way that you see them.
Yes.
And it's like, I can remember so many times, you know, where both of us, you know, have been down in one way or another, and us having to come to each other's rescue.
Yes.
To remind us of who we are and what we're capable of, because we so deeply believe in each other. And it's so special to have when you're going through moments where you can sometimes lose sight of that.
Yes.
And knowing that you have somebody in your life, man, who can remind you that you're capable, that you're loved, that you're cared for, who can look in your own past and be like, hey, look at all of the stuff you've already done, what you've already accomplished, you know?
Yes.
And just having that in your life.
Right.
And knowing that it's coming from a genuine space and a genuine place, like, man, that's a gift.
I mean, something for me is like, I've never wanted you to feel like alone in this world, like alone with like whatever life throws at you. Like, cause okay, so let's be 100. Like, yes, we're married, but life throws us different curveballs for each other.
Yeah.
Like, there's different things that we're going to have to go through individually. Right. So I've never wanted you to feel alone in whatever your journey has been. I've always wanted to be there for you and be that rock for you. I never want you to feel like the weight of the world is on you. Like, just like weighing you down. I'm like, no, I got you. How can we carry this together? You know what I'm saying? And I love that. I love that I have that desire for you. And it's so confusing when I see the craziness that we run into on social media, like people don't even be caring about who they're married to. Like you don't care. Like how did you guys even end up being married?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I've always had this desire with you.
I think our lack of selfishness has been one of the best things that I ain't gonna say we unconsciously developed in our marriage, but it's definitely been one of the best things that we've always had in our marriage. Like I've always thought about our relationship in a way to where I've always wanted to be the best version of me, for me and for you. I've always wanted to show up for you in the ways that you needed. And I've always thought about, how am I making you feel? How am I being the friend or the partner that you need? And then asking those questions and then doing what I need to do after the questions have been asked, and wanting to care for you, wanting to show up for you the best way that I can, and doing that on purpose and not in the attempt to be able to get something from you. Like, I just care.
Yes.
Like, I just actually care about you being somebody that you love and that you enjoy. And then also knowing that I get the benefit from that. You know what I mean? But we get to share that benefit in each other's lives because we get to keep sharing our love. We get to keep sharing, that enjoyment, that lust for life, whatever the case may be. Like, we get to keep being a part of each other's lives in a meaningful way that adds to us individually and together. And like you said, like, life throws us its curveballs on the individual level. And as real as those things may be, it's not more real than what our connection is and what our relationship is.
Absolutely.
And we get to remind each other anytime that we need to that you don't have to deal with that stuff alone. Like, we getting this thing together. Like you said before, man, 2 minds are better than one.
Yes.
We got that mastermind. We can always sit down and figure out how to overcome anything as long as we got each other.
Absolutely.
And it's something like we talked about earlier today, like when we've had trips, when we've gone on vacations, when we've done all of these things, the extravagant moments that we've had in our marriage, it's never been the extravagant moment that was so beautiful and amazing and all of this different stuff or whatever, like that got all the credit. It was everything that we did up to that moment that made us value the special moment the way that we did in that moment.
Right.
Not escaping something, but seeing how much work that we've done on each other, in our marriage, and just seeing, the type of stuff that we've overcome together, how much intention that we've put into loving each other, caring for each other, supporting each other through whatever it is that we're dealing with. And then getting to a moment where we get to celebrate and then being able to look back and be like, what we have is real. Like, look what we've overcome. Look what we've accomplished together. Like, look at what our marriage has produced, our partnership, our friendship. Like, the big moment is only a big moment because of all of the small moments that came before.
Absolutely.
You take that away and it's just whatever it is. But it's everything that we did before those bigger moments that compounded into the love that we have and what those moments mean to us and what those experiences mean to us in the way that we fall in love with each other all over again. And I love that we get that through our desire to just show up and care for one another.
Yeah. And I think that's another reason why we keep falling in love with each other over and over and over again. Like, to bring it back, like, I really think, like, even that's one of the reasons. Like, how can you not?
Yeah.
How can you not fall in love with someone who contributes to you, who does their own self-work so they can be better for you, who supports you, loves you, cares for you? Like,
through all of the phases.
How can you not fall in love with someone like that over and over and over again?
Because you know how many people, man, lose like friendships and connections to close family members and all of this other stuff because every time you change, it's like you got to defend who you're changing into, in front of those people and whatnot, man. And you got to, try to cater to them because people don't handle change, well. Most people don't, man. But having somebody who you can grow through life with and who loves you through all of your different phases and changes and stages, Granted, as long as your changes aren't negatively impacting them in a way, that takes away from the relationship.
Productive change.
Productive change. Let's be clear about that, right? But having somebody in your life, man, who can love you through all of that is such a freaking gift, man, because I know even as I've grown to be somebody that I'm proud of, that's caused me to lose relationships. That's caused me to lose connections with other people who didn't like who I was becoming because it didn't benefit them no more. You know what I mean? But my wife, she saw the value in it. She encouraged me through it. She liked who I was and who I'm becoming. You know what I mean? But that's the value of marriage.
Right.
And I get to do all of that stuff, making sure that I'm still in alignment with where we're going and who, we're becoming and all of that stuff. Like knowing that you got that lifelong partnership and you get to keep standing in the gap for each other and show, man, listen, it's when you're doing this thing on purpose and intentionally, it's hard to not fall in love with each other over and over again, because you ain't finna have a whole lot of people in your life who even get to be a part of all of those different processes of you, dealing with the roller coaster of life.
Yeah, for sure.
It ain't even finna be a whole lot of people with you. Most of the time, you're just gonna be dealing with that stuff on your own, and everybody else is gonna be on the outside looking in. But like you, my wife, my rib, my helpmate, my help me, all of that. You've been in it with me.
Yes.
And I've been in it with you. And we've loved each other through every phase, every stage, every transition.
Every season.
Every season. All of that.
Absolutely, babe. Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that.
Yeah, baby. And, for the listeners, man, I know we really took this around the world. And came back. And I hope y'all rock with us, man, all the way through it, and that you actually got some real value out of it. Yeah. I really hope so, because man, we sit down, we get behind this mic, man, and we just share it the way it comes up at the time.
Pretty much, yeah
man. And we just hope that you're able to genuinely get something of value from just the way that we express ourselves and the way that we're reflecting on what our marriage has been, because our whole intent, man, is to share our growth in a way that actually helps other people navigate their relationships, their marriages, and at least gives you something to reflect on and hopefully be able to use it in a valuable and meaningful way in your own life.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, family, my name is John Tron. This is my beautiful queen,
Adoria.
And we are One Dope Couple. And until next time, family, peace and love.